Yo, and welcome back to fellow Pixeliters, and today we're going to be continuing Zoro from the Wano arc, and today we're going to be doing part 19, and today we're going to be moving on to the right hand side of the body area, as you can see, and we're going to be doing all the fist and all the rest of the shoulder. So once again, for today's blocks, we're going to be using our terracotta, our chisel sandstone, and our brown mushroom block. Once you grabbed all three of those blocks, once again we're going to start exactly the same as we started on the last build, and just on the right hand side, and we're going to be flying to the thumb that's going underneath right here with our brown mushroom block. So let's fly all the way over to here. So as you can see, this sector right here is the thumbnail part right here, and where the thumb is, and all of this inside here is literally just going to be filled in with brown mushroom block. So if I just place a couple in here, and there you go. I could fill all that in, but we're not going to fill it in because you can do it at the end. Or if you want to pause the video, you can fill it now if you want it. But all inside there is going to be brown mushroom block. And then to the sector to the left of it, this sector right here, still on the thumb, this is just all terracotta. So again, we'll just fill a bit inside here, just to mark out this area. Well, there you go. It should be looking like that so far. So as you can see, brown mushroom block in there, and terracotta in there. Once again, starting from the very top left hand side of the fist, going down, we'll start from the top once again, and for the area that we're going to be going to, we'll be flying to the right to this line that's going up here, and we're going to fly to the second 2 that's going up. So as you can see, these 3 2s at the end, we're going to be flying to the second one. So with our terracotta, we're going to fly to that 2 in the middle, right there, so the second one of that 2, and we're going to fly to the top of a 2 in the middle, so to the very top of it, just like so. Once you've flown to the top of the middle of this 2, we're then going to place one terracotta going to the left from here, just like so. So we should be looking like that right there. Once you've done this, we're then going to do 5 bottom left diagonals from here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And from this 5th bottom left diagonal, we're then going to place 2 to the left, so 1 and 2. And as you can see, we should connect it to the black concrete to the left of it, just like so. Once we connect to the left of it, we're then going to fly all the way to the left by 2, so 1 and 2, so to the end of the black concrete right here, and we're then going to place 2 terracotta going to the left, so 1 and 2. Once you place that 2 to the left, we're then going to do it up left diagonal. And then there we go, we're done with the first part right there. So as you can see, terracotta once again is going to go underneath, and taking out our chisel sandstone, we're just going to mark out on top with our chisel sandstone. So we're just going to mark on top right here. And there we go. So once you have done that, we're then going to move on to the next finger going down. So once again, we're going to be flying to the next line that's going up here. So this line right here. So once again, taking out our terracotta, and for the area that we are going to be going off this line right here, we're going to be flying to the first 2. So not the very top one, we're going to be flying to the very first one. And the area that we're going to be going off the very first 2 right here, we're going to be going to the top of the first one. So right here. And once you've flown to this one right here, we're going to place 1 terracotta going to the left. So we should be looking like that right there. Once you've done this, we're then going to do 5 bottom left diagonals from here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. From this 5th bottom left diagonal, we're going to place 1 to the left. And then we're going to do another bottom left diagonal from here. And then from this bottom left diagonal, we're going to place 2 to the left, so 1 and 2. As you can see, we connected to the right of this up left diagonal right here. And then once you've done this, we're going to fly into the left by 1, so to this black concrete right here. And we're going to place 1 terracotta going to the left, just like so. And from this one that we place to the left, we're going to do 2 left diagonals, so 1 and 2. And there you go. As you can see, we should have connected to the up left corner. So to the underneath of those first upright diagonal, the 2 upright diagonals right there. And then to the left or to the right of this big line right here. Once you have done this, once again, terracotta is going to be underneath in this section right here. And then taking out our chisel sandstone, once again, we're just going to mark on top. And then there we go. Again, as you can see, terracotta is going underneath, and chisel sandstone is going to go all up and above. So then moving on to the next finger, down to this one right here. Taking out our terracotta again, and once again flying to the next line that's going up right here. And for the area that we're going to be going off this line, once again we're going to be flying to near the top area, but once again we're not going to be going off the top this time. we're going to be going off the first up left diagonal of this 2 right here. So as you can see, there's 2 up left diagonals from the top, 1 and 2. We're going to be going to the first one. So fly all the way to the first one. And the area that we're going to be going off the first one is we're going to be going off the bottom one. So not the top one of the 2, the bottom one of the 2. Once you've flown to the bottom one of the 2, we're going to place 1 terracotta to the left. So we should be looking like that right there. Once done that, fly back in. And then we're going to do 3 bottom left diagonals from here. So 1, 2, and 3. Just like so. And from this third bottom left diagonal, we're going to place a 1 to the left. And then we're going to do another bottom left diagonal. From this bottom left diagonal, place a 1 to the left. And then we're going to do another bottom left diagonal. And from this bottom left diagonal, place 2 to the left. So 1 and 2. As you can see, we should have connected to the right, the black concrete right there. Flying to the left by 1, so to this black concrete right here. And then once you've flown to this black concrete right here, we're then going to do 2 up left diagonals from here. So 1 and 2, and just like so. And as you can see, that second up left diagonal should have connected underneath of this 2 going up right here. So as you can see, these 3 2s from the very first 2, the terracotta is connected underneath it, and to the right of this 1 up right diagonal right there. Once again, as you can see, terracotta is going to go all underneath in this section, and taking our chisel sandstone, just marking out on top once again. And there we go. Once you've marked out that area, flying over to the next finger. Once again, we're going to be flying to the line that's sticking up on the right. And for the area that we're going to be going off right here, we're going to be flying to the 2. So that 2 right there. And once you're flying over to this 2, taking out a terracotta again, we're going to be going to the bottom of the 2. So not the top one, the bottom one of the 2 right here. And we're going to place 2 terracotta going to the left from here. So 1 and 2. And there we go. We should be looking like that right there. Once you've done that, fly back into the end of that 2. And once you've flown back towards the end right here, do 3 bottom left diagonals. So 1, 2, and 3. From this third bottom left diagonal, place a 1 to the left, and just like so. And then we're going to do 3 bottom left diagonals again. So 1, 2, and 3. And from this third bottom left diagonal, we're going to place 3 to the left. So 1, 2, and 3. Once you place this 3 to the left, do 2 up left diagonals. So 1 and 2. And there you go. As you can see, that second up left diagonal should have connected underneath this 2 right here. And to the right, that upright diagonal right there. Once again, terracotta is going to go all underneath inside here. And taking out chisel sandstone, we're just going to mark out on top of the terracotta. And then there we go. We're going to zoom out from there. So once again, before we move on to these sections over here, we got a couple areas that we got to shade. So underneath the sword, as you can see, part of the arm right here, this line going all the way down here, this section down to the bottom, it's all going to be filled in with terracotta. So we're just going to take out the terracotta, and we're just going to do one line. So we're just going to go all the way down, quickly. So all inside this section is literally just all going to be terracotta inside here. So quite an easy area, and there you go. So as you can see, it should end right there. So just fill all of that in with terracotta, and once again, it's still one little tiny area in the fist. We're going to be flying back to that line where we previously did our finger line, right going down here with the terracotta. So our final line that we did for the finger with the terracotta. Flying to this line again. Once again, taking out our terracotta, we're going to be going off the very upright diagonal. So fly to the very upright diagonal. Once you've flown to the very upright diagonal, we're going to place 1 terracotta underneath, just like so. Then we're going to do 2 bottom right diagonals. So 1 and 2. Then there you go. Once you've done this, take out our chisel sandstone, and as you can see, chisel sandstone is going to go above it on the right hand side, and then the bottom left corner is going to be all terracotta. So just put our chisel sandstone on top, just like so. And then take out our terracotta, and you know what, we might as well fill it in. This is a small area. And there you go, you should be looking like that right there. So, as you can see, the fist is closed off on this side. So, all chisel sandstone is going to go all up inside here, up into there. And terracotta is going to go all underneath those parts right there, all the way down there as well. Brown motion block in there, and terracotta in there. Then, moving on to the right hand side, onto the arm, over here. So, for the area that we're going to be going off all the way over here, we're going to be flying all the way over to the right. And once again, we're going to kind of go in that like bottom right corner direction, just like we did over there, but that was the bottom left corner direction. And we're going to be flying to this 7 right here, as you can see. There's this 7 going up right here. We're going to be flying all the way over to here. And we're actually going to fly, to make things as easy as possible, we're going to fly to that one bottom left diagonal that you can see in the corner right here. So fly all the way over to this bottom left diagonal, as you can see. Once you have then flown to here, we're going to place 4 terracotta going up from here. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, just like so. Then once you place 4 going up, we're going to fly underneath by 1, so back down to the 3rd terracotta. And from this 3rd terracotta, we're going to place 26 going to the left from here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 and 26. Once you place 26 to the left, do an up left diagonal. Then from this up left diagonal, we're going to place 3 going to the left. So 1, 2 and 3. We're then going to do another up left diagonal. And from this up left diagonal, place number 3 to the left. So 1, 2 and 3. We're then going to do another up left diagonal. And from this up left diagonal, place 2 to the left. So 1 and 2. And then we're going to place 1 underneath. And from this one that we place underneath, do a bottom right diagonal. And from this bottom right diagonal, do a bottom left diagonal. And from our bottom left diagonal, we're then going to place 4 going to the left from here. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. We're then going to do an up left diagonal. And from this up left diagonal, we're going to place 5 going to the left. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. We're then going to do another up left diagonal from here. And from this up left diagonal, we're going to place 4 to the left. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. And then we're going to do another up left diagonal. And then from this up left diagonal, we're going to place 2 going to the left. So 1 and 2. And there you go. As you can see, that 2 that we just placed to the left should have connected to the right of this up left diagonal right here, as you can see. So we're going to zoom out. So, as you can see, terracotta's going to go all underneath and down in this section, and it will be over here as well. And then taking our chisel sandstone, we're just going to mark it all on above the terracotta once again. So we're just going to mark this out quickly once again. And there we go, so there's that area marked right there. So once again, we're going to be flying to the next area. So we're going to be flying to the second line going up. So missing this small little line here, we're flying to the big line right here. And for the area that we're going to be going off this big line, we're going to be flying all the way to the top, to the very top end to right here. And taking out our terracotta, we're going to fly to the very right of the end of this too. Once you've flown to the very right and the end of this too, we're going to take out our terracotta. And we're going to place 13 terracotta going to the right from here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 and 13. Once you place 13 to the right, do an upright diagonal. Then from this upright diagonal, place 10 to the right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Once you place 10 to the right, we're then going to do a bottom right diagonal. From this bottom right diagonal, place 2 to the right, so 1 and 2, and then we're going to do 9 bottom right diagonals from here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And there you go, as you can see, that 9th bottom right diagonal should have connected in a bottom right diagonal direction to this black concrete that's going in an upright diagonal on its own right there. So we're going to zoom out. So terracotta's going to go all underneath in this section, and taking out our chisel sandstone, we're just going to mark all above the terracotta. So we're just going to mark this out nice and quick. And there we go. So once again, as you can see, terracotta underneath and chisel sandstone all on the outside. So once you have done this, we're then going to move on to the next shaded area. And for that next shaded area, we're going to be flying up, and we're going to be flying to this section over here. So for the area that we're going to start over in this section right here, we're I'm going to fly all the way to the left. So right above the fist area, or right above the hand, we got these lines coming up here. And we're going to be flying to the very right line, so this line right here. And we're going to take out our terracotta. And for the area that we're going to be going off the right of this line right here, we're going to be going off the 3 that's going up. So as you can see, there's 2 3s going up right here, so 1 and 2. We're going to be going off the second 3. And the area that we're going to be going off from the second 3 is we're going to be flying to the center of that second 3. So to the middle one right here. Once you've flown into this middle one right here, taking out our terracotta, we're going to place one going to the right from here. Just like so. So we should be looking like that right there. And flying back in towards the terracotta, we're going to do 3 bomb right diagonals from here. So 1, 2, and 3. And from this third bottom right diagonal, we're going to place 2 to the right. So 1 and 2. Then we're going to do another bottom right diagonal. And from this bottom right diagonal, we're going to place 6 to the right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Once you place 6 to the right, do an upright diagonal. From this upright diagonal, place 2 to the right. So 1 and 2. We're then going to do 3 upright diagonals. So 1, 2, and 3. From this third upright diagonal, place 1 to the right. Just like so. Then do 2 upright diagonals. So 1 and 2. From the second upright diagonal, place 1 to the right. And then we're going to do 2 upright diagonals. So 1 and 2. From the second upright diagonal, place 1 to the right. And then we're going to do 3 upright diagonals. So 1, 2, and 3. And from this third upright diagonal, we're going to place 1 to the right. And then we're going to do another upright diagonal. From this upright diagonal, we're going to place 1 to the right. And then we're going to place 1 underneath. And then fly back up by 1. So back up to this right corner. And we're going to place 1 to the right. And then we're going to place 1 on top. And then place the 1 to the right. And there we go. We should be looking like that right there. Once you've done this, we're then going to fly to that one that we placed underneath. So to this one right here, as you can see, we're going to be going off this one. Once you've flown back to this one right here, we're then going to do 4 bottom left diagonals from here. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. From this 4th bottom left diagonal, place 1 underneath. And then do 3 bottom left diagonals. So 1, 2, and 3. And from this 3rd bottom left diagonal, we're going to place 1 underneath. And just like so. Then we're going to do another bottom left diagonal. And from this bottom left diagonal, place 2 underneath. So 1 and 2. Then do another bottom left diagonal. And from this bottom left diagonal, place another 2 underneath. So 1 and 2. And then do 2 bottom right diagonals. So 1 and 2. From the second bottom right diagonal, place 1 underneath. And then from this one that you place underneath, do another bottom right diagonal. And there we go. So we're done with that little part right there. So, as you can see, terracotta is going to go all underneath in this section right here and down here. And it's also going to go all up in those little sections and all up those upright diagonals right there. That's air. And taking our chisel sandstone, once again, we're just going to mark out on top of the terracotta. So let's mark all this out, just to make sure we don't spill over again. Well, I'm just going to get underneath now. And there we go. So again, as you can see, terracotta's going all down in that section and going up into the right corners. And chisel sandstone is going to go all on the outside. Obviously, we've still got more areas to shade in. So for the next area that we're going to go off, we're going to be flying to the left. And we're actually going to be flying back to that line that we just went off. But we're going to be flying to the left of it. So back to this line right here. And for the area that we're going to go off this line, we're going to fly all the way to the 2 up left diagonals. And for the up left diagonal that we're going to go off, we're going to go off the first up left diagonal. So once again, taking out our terracotta, fly to that first up left diagonal. Once you've flown to this first up left diagonal, we're going to place 2 terracotta going underneath. So 1 and 2. We're then going to do a bottom right diagonal. And from this bottom right diagonal, place 3 underneath. So 1, 2, and 3. And then there we go. Once you've done this, you then can place 1 to the right. And then you can place 2 underneath. So 1 and 2. And then do a bottom right diagonal and place 1 underneath. And there you go, you're literally done with that section right there. So, taking out our chisel sandstone, we're just going to mark out on the left hand side. And there we go, so we should be looking like that right there. Once you've done that, we're then going to fly to the left to this line right here. But we're not actually going to go off this line to make things as easy as possible. We're actually going to fly underneath. And as you can see, we've got these 3 up left diagonals right here, and we've got this first 3. We're going to fly into that first 3 right there. So not the second 3, we're going to fly into the first one. And taking out our terracotta, we're going to be flying to the very right of this 3. So basically, the 4th up left diagonal, you could say, from here. But it is all the way to the right of the 3. And once you are flown over to here, with our terracotta, we're going to place 3 going up from here. So 1, 2, and 3. We're then going to do it up left diagonal. From this up left diagonal, place 1 on top. Then do another up left diagonal, and from this up left diagonal, place 2 on top. So 1 and 2. Then do another up left diagonal. From this up left diagonal, we're going to place 1 on top. And then we're going to do another up left diagonal, and then there we go. We're done with that little section right there. So terracotta is going to go all on the right hand side right here, and taking out our chisel sandstone, we're going to mark out on the left hand side. And there we go. So once you have done that, might as well, while we're here, we're going to fly to the left. And as you can see, we've got this black concrete line right here. We're going to be flying inside this line right here. And for the area that we're going to go off inside here, we're going to fly all the way to the up left corner, up in the sword area. So as you can see, the sword's right here. We're literally flying to this very up left diagonal corner. And taking out our terracotta, we're going to place 1 from this very corner. So 1 to the right of this 3 that's sticking up right here. So place 1 to the right in that corner, just like so. Once you place that 1 terracotta on the right, fly back over to it. And we're then going to do 5 bottom right diagonals. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I'm just going to quickly replace that black concrete, and then there we go. So as you can see, terracotta is going to go in the bottom left corner right there, and taking out our chisel sandstone, that's going to go all on the right hand side. So we're just going to mark out on the right hand side with our chisel sandstone. Oh, get the bottom, and there we go. So we should be looking like that right there. So we're getting terracotta on the left and chisel sandstone in the right. Once you've done this, we're then going to zoom out and fly to the next areas that we're going to go off. So we've only got 3 areas. This side is a shorter area, as all the sides are pretty much smaller shade and is a bit less shading. So for the first area, we're going to fly all the way to the right, and so we're going to be flying to this little section coming off from the shoulder right here. And so we're going to be flying to that very single up left diagonal. Once again, taking out our terracotta, fly all the way to that up left diagonal. Once you're flying over towards here, we're going to place 6 terracotta going to the right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then there we go, we're done with that section right there. So taking out our chisel sandstone, we're just going to mark on top of the terracotta, just like so, and then there we go, we're done with that area. So if you want, you can fill in that gap underneath, because as it is super short, and there you go, you're done. So once you have done that area, we're going to move on to the next area. So we're going to move on to this line on the shoulder as well, this line right here. And for the area that we're going to be going off here, we're going to be flying to the very top, and we're going to fly into this 2. Once you fly into this 2, we're going to fly to the very right of the 2. Once you fly to the right of this 2, we're going to place 3 terracotta going to the right from here. So 1, 2, and 3. Once you place 3 terracotta to the right, do a bottom right diagonal. From this bottom right diagonal, we're going to place 1 to the right, just like so. And we're then going to do 6 bottom right diagonals from here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And from the 6th bottom right diagonal, we're then going to place 6 going underneath from here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we're going to do the bottom left diagonal, and from this bottom left diagonal, place 1 underneath. And there we go, we're done with that area right there. So terracotta is going to go all on the left hand side inside there, and taking out our chisel sandstone, we're going to mark it out on top and on the right hand side. I'm just going to mark all this out now. Now we've got one more final area to actually explain, is in terms of moving out and shading on top. And then we've got 2 more other areas, but those areas again just like in one area, which will be over at the neck area, which you will see the area. So for the next line that we're going to be going off, we're going to be flying all the way to the left. And as you can see, we've got this line coming off the sword right here. We're going to be flying to this line right here. And for the area that we're going to be going off this line, that's coming from the sword right here, we're going to be flying to the very up left diagonal, and we're going to take out our terracotta again. So once you've flown to this very up left diagonal, with our terracotta, we're going to place a 1 to the left, just like so. we're then going to do 2 up left diagonals, so 1 and 2, and the second up left diagonal, place 2 to the left, so 1 and 2, then we're going to place 3 underneath, so 1, 2 and 3, then we're going to do bottom right diagonal. From this bottom right diagonal, we're then going to place a 1 underneath. From this one that we place underneath, do a bottom left diagonal. And from this bottom left diagonal, place 2 underneath. So 1 and 2. And then finally but not least, do another bottom left diagonal. And place 1 underneath. And then there we go, we're literally done with that section right there. So as you can see, terracotta is going to go all on the right hand side. And down here, and then up in that little section. And then taking out our chisel sandstone, we're just going to mark this all out on the left hand side. And then we're going to mark on top of this area right here. And then there we go. We're done literally with all that explaining to do with the shading over. So now we just got to do a couple more areas, but with these areas we don't need to really describe it too much. So we're going to fly above in the shoulder, and as you can see above the sword right here, we got this small little gap right here. Inside that gap, that's actually going to be all filled in with our chisel sandstone. So we're just going to put a couple of chisel sandstone in here. Or at least attempt to. There we go. So as you see, chisel sandstone is going to go all inside that little gap. Then, once you have done that, moving on to the next sectors to explain, we're flying over to the neck area. And as you can see, above the sword handle right here and below the blade, that right corner right there, that's all filled in with terracotta. So we're just going to fill a bit of this in. And there we go. So as you can see, terracotta is going to go all inside there. And then we're going to fly underneath the sword handle again. And underneath the sword handle, we got these 2 areas right here. Obviously, that left area right there is part of the face again. So don't touch that area right there. But that area right there is going to be filled in with our terracotta, because that's part of the chest area where the collarbone is. So just place a couple of terracotta in here. And there we go. As you can see, terracotta's all inside there. And again, don't touch that, because that's part of the neck. So that's all the areas explained. As I said, this side is a lot shorter, as it wasn't as much as that side. And also the areas that we did have to shade was a lot easier. Or essentially smaller. So without further ado, let's just do a quick recap of what everything we got to do. So, brown mushroom block inside the thumb area right there. Terracotta in the left. Terracotta's going all underneath the finger in all these sections that we marked out. And chisel sandstone's going to go all above, up in the fist area. And as you can see, we've already filled in that terracotta there, but it does go in the left corner. And again, chisel sandstone is out on the outside. And then underneath the handle, and still in the hand as well there, and part of the arm going down here, is all going to be terracotta, as you can see down there. And then moving over to the right arm, as you can see, terracotta underneath in this section right here, all in here. And then chisel sandstone is going to go all above. Terracotta inside that small section right there. Well, it's actually not too small, but you get the point. It's going to go in there. And chisel sandstone is going to go all on the outside. And then chisel sandstone is going to go up there as well. As you can see, we've already filled in terracotta in that small gap. Terracotta's all on the side here, going up there. We've already filled in that gap there as well. And then the bottom right side right there is going to be terracotta. Terracotta on the left hand side in that little gap there. And then chisel sandstone all into the right, up in that angle. And then terracotta inside that small gap. And then in that little left gap there. And chisel sandstone is going to go all on the outside of all those areas. And also it's going to be right to the right of that area as well. Chisel sandstone is going to go in there. And then terracotta is going to go in this section right here, as you can see, underneath the blade and above the handle. And then underneath the handle right here. And then above the blade on this sword right here, terracotta is going in there. So with that being said, we're now going to zoom out. So once again, if you want to finish it and fill it in for yourself, see the end result for yourself, you can then pause the video right now if you want to see the end result for yourself. And for those that want a reference to make sure you don't go wrong, then you can pause the video right now. And there we go. So as you can see, we have filled in all the terracotta in the fist area, so underneath all the fingers, we filled in all the terracotta. We also filled in the brown mushroom in the thumb area and terracotta to the left of it. You can also see that we filled in all the terracotta underneath the sword as well, and chisel sandstone on the outside. Then moving on to the right, as you can see, the terracotta has been filled underneath in that bottom part of the arm, and above in that area where it's meant to be shaded, and chisel sandstone all on the outside. And exactly the same with all the areas above the hand, into the shoulder area, and into the rest of the chest area. You can also see that we filled in all the terracotta in those areas that are meant to be filled in, and all the chisel sandstone. And in the neck, you can also see all the terracotta that was meant to be filled in, and the same with the chisel sandstone just above the sword. Now, with that being said, as you can see, that is the final end result. So we're just going to do another zoom out so you can see everything that we've done so far for the shading in. As you can see, this is the end result of the body so far, and I must say it is looking very nice already. So in the next part, we will be doing the swords. So as I said before, probably each sword is going to get its own separate part as well. There's a lot of detail in the swords. We're probably going to be doing the hardest one first, or not exactly the hardest one, the thinnest ones, but a lot of colours in it. Now, with all that being said, I'll see you in the next tutorial. So without further ado, make sure to go and hit that like button if you haven't hit that like button already, and subscribe to the channel if you're new or haven't hit that button yet. Helps out the channel a lot, and it's much appreciated. And now, with all that being said, I'll see you in the next one. So peace out, enjoy the rest of your day, and goodbye.